Hey, so are you a homeschooler of teenagers by chance? Or are you kicking the tires on maybe considering homeschooling during high school? If so, stick around for a minute. I want to share with you about preparing teenagers for adulthood as part of your family's homeschool. My name is Jan Burt. I homeschooled my 5 children for 25 years, all the way through high school graduation, and I'm here this week as part of Erica John's TikTok Homeschool Conference, which is all about homeschooling teenagers. Some of the things that come to mind when I think about preparing your teens for adulthood may not be the things that you might think of. First of all, I just want to say that this isn't just about things like textbooky type of stuff. I'm talking about the real life stuff they need to know. Money lessons. They need to learn money lessons at home in an environment that is safe. In air quotes, I'm going to say, like, where there's safe space where they can learn and stumble around and fall forward, because we all know money is tricky. Money is a dance and it's not easy. That could be anything from learning how to budget. They may not know what a budget is, to specifics when it comes to budgeting. How do you budget for potential car repairs, like car maintenance? That costs money. Are you going to have pets? They cost a lot of money. Grocery shopping. How do you do any of that? How do you meal plan based on what's on sale? And then how do you shop wisely and not just run into the store and grab a bunch of stuff and then you've blown your entire budget and you only have food for 6 days when you needed it for 14 days. These kinds of things are things they can learn while they are at home. Some of this stuff is important to mention because for a teenager, everything feels permanent and just like it can feel devastating in a way that it's actually not permanent. Less is permanent in life than you realize when you're a teenager. And they're not going to see that clearly, no matter how much you try to get them to, but you can definitely be kind of the sounding board for them. And if you're their sounding board now in a good, healthy, functional way, where yes, you're still their parent, but also a safe sounding board, they are going to be more likely to come to you and when they are in their young adult life with questions and concerns, where you can share what you've learned in the school of hard knocks with them and pass it along to them. But if they don't feel like they have a safe place or a sounding board, they may not come to you. And we all know that there are people in life that are not the best options for us, really, not in the long run, but they might seem like a good option in the short run when we're having a hard time. So teach them about relationships. Be choosy in your relationships. If you are as a parent, they are going to see that. They may not model it, but you can definitely talk to them about it. At the very least, talk to them about the dating/marriage relationship choices, maybe how to choose your work friends and which work coworkers are just going to be acquaintances versus friends, how there can be kind of layers of friends, and not everybody needs to be your super close friend. All of their relationships can be, they can feel very permanent, and it can feel really crushing when one ends, but there's very little in life that's permanent. And if you can help them to learn that, or at least teach them about it, and that lesson, it'll get down in there, and when it needs to, it'll rise back up to the surface. And someday they'll probably say, oh my goodness. They may not say, you were right, Mom, but they might say, I remember when you taught me that, and I thought that was just a bunch of bunk, and you know what? It wasn't. So money issues. Talk about money. Talk about budgeting. Talk about what a lease is. Talk about what a car loan is, or any kind of a loan. Talk about just the reality of interest and the reality of having some kind of an emergency fund, choosing who your roommate is, just some legal aspects of life, some things they just need to know. Taxes. How do taxes work? Talk to them about taxes. This one is a big one. Hygiene. Talk to them about hygiene, for their sake, for your sake, for everyone's sake. Just keep stressing the hygiene. How to do laundry. It's really important that they know how to do their own laundry. Do they understand really how to clean a house, how to keep a car clean, how to keep themselves clean? These things matter in life. Okay, I'm going to check my list here because I don't want to miss anything. You want high school at home to be a way to kind of buffer some of the noise that comes at them in life, because they're going to get hit left, right, up, down, from every direction constantly. and they're not exactly getting hit the same way when they're at home as when they are in public school. And so you don't want to do the hitting on them. You don't want to replace the hits that life brings them, but you want to buffer some of the life noise if you possibly can. Think about women talking about food noise. They have life noise. Their phones never stop. What can you do to teach them life skills that you and I never had to learn as teenagers because we did not have a phone in our pocket, in our hand, in our face, in our mind, in our thoughts 24/7, but they do. So think about that. What life skills, how can you teach them about life noise or phone noise versus just think of food noise, what you maybe need to hear about that, or what your self-talk is about that. Just giving you an example so you can piggyback off of it and think, how do I talk to my kids about something that I never had to have explained to me when I was a teenager? It just wasn't a thing. They're harassed incessantly by their devices. How can you create a space in your home that's a buffer for them, and then teach them to carry that forward with them when they leave your home and move on into adulthood? Other schooling options, they take your teens out of the home. Homeschooling keeps them in the home more, and so you have the opportunity to help them learn how to not be defeated and deflated by XYZ constantly, all the time. That's a real gift that you can give your kids, and I don't want you to neglect the giving of that gift just because it simply never came to mind, which sort of happened to me with some of my kids. It wasn't until I was down the road a little bit of sending them off into the world that I realized, I wish I had focused more on prepping them for adulthood. So please feel free to learn from my mistakes. For most of the history of the world, teenagers, adolescents, young people, they had a lot more time with their parents, their family, learning how to do life. So maximize the time that you have as a homeschool parents to whatever degree you can, whatever that looks like for you. Find a way to maximize the time you have that is not available to public school students to teach them about how to live life, how to do life. Sit down maybe and just brainstorm. Get quiet, put your phone away, and give your brain maybe like 10 or 15 minutes to kind of get bored. And you might even do this like standing up. For whatever reason, standing up helps for, the cognitive idea flowing juices to just get moving. And then make a list of all sorts of things that you might find important about teaching your kid. Like, what comes to mind after that long pause when you want to teach them about how to do life? Do they know how to do laundry? Do they know how to change their oil? Because it's expensive to change your oil and less expensive to change it yourself than to pay somebody. Do they know how to, get a stain out of the carpet? If they are renting an apartment, do they know what a move-out clean will entail? Do they understand how to make and keep important appointments? Do they know how to get their own driver's license? Do they know their social security number? Life is coming for your teenager. Adulthood is coming for them. And you're the only parents that they've got. So you get the profound honor, privilege, and difficult at times and challenging task of prepping them for adulting. I'm not a fan of like the saying, I don't want to adult today, because adulting and skipping out on adulting, there's no benefit to skipping it. So I'm not a fan of that saying. I want to encourage you to not skip out on your adulting task of prepping your teenager for what's coming for them in adulthood. So teach them how to clean the bathroom, teach them how to scrub a toilet, teach them how to get stains out of their clothing, teach them what it means when a tag says dry clean only. Let them know things like that. Show them in real time what the bills are and what it takes to run a home. This isn't going to be the most fun part of homeschooling, but it could be the most gratifying. And talk about career choices versus jobs. And by that, I mean, they're going to do a job like, get into like plumbing or something. There's nothing wrong with that, but have an honest conversation about the wear and tear that certain things take on your body. And do they really want to do that for the long term? Find people who've done certain things that they can ask questions of. They've done this for 40 years. Let's talk to them and see. Do the hard but very rewarding work of preparing your teens for adulthood. And I promise you, this is one aspect of your homeschooling season during high school that will pay dividends that literally last for the rest of your child's life.